Hola!
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Two Geek Girls. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Kelly, for joining me today.
Hey,
Yay. Here we are. I hope everyone's week is going well. How are you doing, Kelly?
my brain is mush. Uh, like I work. We have a very important survey at work, and it's work things, and brain is mush.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I don't know if I will be able to complete full sentences right now, to be perfectly honest.
That's
So,
okay. How about are you excited for episode 3 today?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I do not know if I'm going to stay up tonight to be able to watch it, but I will try my best to get caught up by tomorrow. We will see.
Yeah, you are you excited to see it? Like wishing you could stay up, maybe possibly to see it?
Honestly, I mean, so I'm enjoying it, but this is my thing is I like Bucky, I like Falcon. It's obviously very, very good. Like it's not anything I'm having like super shock, like
Hmm.
it's good, but it's also one of those things that I'm not sitting here like worried about missing something.
Right.
It's not the same as WandaVision where it's like, oh no, I've got to be on my A game. I've got to watch it because I've got to like help decipher things for everybody else. Like here, I feel like I
Yeah.
kind of feel like you're being handed everything. I think the only thing that I've seen that has given me any kind of like crazy emotion is people are forgetting that actors are not their characters and have been sending death threats to Kurt Russell's son, who is playing,
Captain
um,
America.
well, Captain America.
Captain
Yeah,
America.
he's playing the agent.
Right.
That I mean, like there are comic origins for this character.
Yes.
This is not a, this isn't like a only for MCU storyline. This has happened before. People do forget about Nomad for some
Yep.
reason, and I don't get that. Um,
I
but
forget a lot of things. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, people forget about Captain America in general. Like, I don't know how many times people are like, yeah, well, if I read this in the comics, it would be so, like Captain America in the comics is so boring compared to the movies. And I'm like, but they literally ripped the character and his heart and soul into the movies. Like there is no difference. You should just pick it up instead of assuming something because
Right.
Ultimate Avengers was so bad.
Which, yeah,
Yeah. So anyway,
got
so
shoved
it's
down everyone's throats for some reason, including
there's
by comic book shop owners. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, Ultimate.
Yeah.
Ultimate's great. Ultimate was horrible, and if you go back and look at it, 20 plus years now, it's a bad look on Marvel, especially Ultimate, especially the way they had Captain America in that comic. And this is pure like all the characters for Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Hmm.
or even and even anybody with Captain America, that is very much more in line with the original 616 characters than it is any other Ultimate character, because I know like sometimes like
Collaboration.
Ultimate collaboration or anything like that. So it's a good show. I just wish more people would maybe back up on the hate. I mean, obviously though, that reaction means that he's doing a good job and he is doing a great job. But I
Yes.
do think people are missing the characterization of him slightly, because the thing is like even his character is not necessarily good or bad. He is an agent and he's going to see this role differently, and that means he's wrong for the role. And yeah, you should feel uncomfortable, but it's
Yes.
not necessarily that he is
The bad
this
guy, so to
evil
speak.
person. Yeah,
Right.
he's a soldier. And unfortunately, this is what
And
soldiers
that's
mean nowadays. He's a
that.
blind, like he's blind. He's following
He's
orders.
doing the job.
Yeah. So you guys have to like, but the thing is back up off this young actor, because no one deserves death threats for playing their job, like doing their job well.
Right. Right. This is the part where the internet sucks and we try to differentiate ourselves from toxic fandom as opposed to having an opinion about something. Two totally different things. And as to your point, I mean, the running theme throughout all of this is soldier, agent, everybody's motivations for becoming the soldier that they do, even if it's against their will, or the soldier that they decide to be.
Yeah.
And that running theme is part of Captain America. For me, I don't know what you would have expected. If you're going to have an anti-Captain America, they're going to be somebody that's meant to rub you the wrong way, and every way at the same time feeling that same thing that, you know, Sam and Bucky feel like, he's a kid, it's his job. I'm pissed off. I don't like it. I hate it, but he's a kid, it's his job. And they get people like that. Like, they get it. Yeah. They're more angry at the institution.
They're soldiers too. I mean, that's the thing too, is that they're also soldiers, and they're soldiers from different time points than this kid. And so Tolkien. Yeah, so it's like, you know, so they see this, they see it the way like I'm trying to explain it, and that's what makes it so, that's kind of what makes that's what makes conflict so tough. Because even when you, even in war, when you're fighting the other person, they're not evil. They're not bad. They're just, they're following their orders. Right. From their people. And now, of course, their people might be doing something wrong or doing something bad. But they're just following orders. And that's kind of the thing people aren't fully like people aren't understanding anymore. And it's one of the things I think that has always played a part in Captain America is things are a lot more gray than you think that they are. It's not black and white. And you really do need to look at yourself and look at that self-reflection. You are not always the hero in this story. And
you're their enemy. Yeah.
And that's, I think that's really a part of what, I mean, it's not the whole part of what this show is about, but it's showing you those facets of this is going to get messy. This, like, unfortunately, war and patriotism and all this other stuff. Like, you got to figure out what you are fighting for. And why.
Yep.
And that's really, I think, the main theming of the show so far. Yes. And I love that. I love that story. But again, to me, it feels far more cut and dry than WandaVision. And so this is more of something I can put on while I'm working, and I'm not going to miss too much from, only half watching it, if that makes sense, just because it's like, okay, I'm following the story and I'm good.
Yeah, because if I look at this more like a Marvel movie, that's certainly how I felt about most of the Marvel movies. As entertaining as they were to sit in a theater and watch, unless you're really, really, really trying to dissect Age of Ultron visions and speeches, you're not going to miss much.
No, but see, and it's different writers, it's a different writing style, and that's okay too. And that's kind of my thing. And that's what it was like, the people that couldn't follow WandaVision or felt like WandaVision might be too quote unquote nerdy for them or whatever, they're going to enjoy this, even though it's still giving you the exact same kind of quality, and Easter eggs and dialogue, all these little bits and pieces that were juicy in WandaVision. They're giving that to you here, but it's in a different way. And it's far more, again, like I said, it's far more straightforward. And so that's why it's like, I don't have the same kind of excitement about it, but that's just because
you kind of know what to expect.
I know what to expect. I'm not seeing anything like, there's nothing there that I feel like I need to speculate on, if that makes sense. Right. Like, not really. I'm going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be good. It's quality content. Yep. It's a different genre, and it's not my, like, I'm here 100% genre, because it's Captain America to me, and he's great. I love him, but not, I love that area.
And it's a good show. And like you said, it's a good show. Yes.
But it's a different show. And that's why it's like, this is one that, I could totally just chill out to. And that's good too. That it's just a different show.
Right. And he, Walker's going to be used for.
And yes, exactly, Vinkman.
Yes.
That's what they're doing here. There's nothing, there's no difference in what they're doing here. It's just the fact that Yeah, so I was just saying, it's just the fact that people are getting so mad at the actor, and he's not.
Okay. I don't put anything past the fans at this point. I swear to God. The whole point of the character is to push Bucky, not sorry, is push Sam
Mhm.
that final step, while also bringing things into perspective for Bucky at a time when he really needs a
He's,
job
well,
to
he's
do.
displaced. I mean,
To do
he's completely displaced in time,
that too,
and
without
that,
the anchor that
yeah,
Rogers had.
yeah. Well, because the
Yeah.
thing is that at the end of the day, Bucky and Steve are always different people, and Bucky even back then never really fully like, and this is MCU Bucky, always looked forward, always was in the present. He never really held on to the past as much as Steve held on to that and held on to the pride and his inner, like, he was driven by his mission. Bucky was just a soldier who was ready to go back home and, you know, pick up girls on the, on the boardwalk and be a normal guy. And this all happened to him,
Yeah.
and he's never had a moment to kind of breathe, because even when he was trying to get deprogrammed, he was in a foreign country that he had never been in. They were obviously, the Wakandans were kind to him,
Mm-hmm.
and helped him out, but like that was still like basically getting over that trauma. And now it's like, okay, and now my friend is dead, and now this is here. What do I do in this world
Right.
now that I'm
It's a
not like a
very different
fugitive?
world.
Yeah, what do I do in this
Yep.
world? And he's a completely displaced person. I mean, take somebody from the 1940s and put them in today's world. They're not gonna. I mean, at least he has some kind of hint. He knows some of it, but you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. This isn't home, so he's got to find
Yeah.
his new
And he
niche.
was so young then. He was so
Yeah,
young then. He didn't even have a time. He didn't have it get to that age where you feel so much more anchored in yourself that
yeah,
you can kind of adapt to a new situation a little bit better. He was still a kid back
yeah,
then. Um, I do feel like with the next one's coming out. So Black Widow, after all of the delays, um, is I have the same feelings about Black Widow I'm definitely having about this show.
yeah,
All good. Um, so when you're talking about like details and things you're going to pay attention to, that's how I'm anticipating Madness come when that comes out.
yeah. I I I'm hoping that, because the only thing that I feel like might hinder the Black Widow movie, like I think it's going to be a great movie,
Hmm.
but because so many people have been waiting with such bated breath for so long, that it might wind up being slightly overhyped, not by Disney and not by Marvel
Right.
Studios and not even by the actors themselves. They've all done a fantastic job at what they've got to do, and it's not their fault that things got delayed. But
Hmm.
the fans, being what Marvel fans have become to be, for better
Yeah.
or worse, might be slightly overplaying it because they've had to wait so long. So what they're going to do, at least what I've seen them, how they've acted with WandaVision and with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're going to wind up going, well, I didn't get this one particular scene that I really wanted. So this is all horrible because I waited this long. And it's such a spoiled brat mentality. I hate
Right.
saying it, but I'm just going to say it like that because I don't know how else to say it. They're not
It,
letting
yeah.
they're not letting things just be and just
Be
watch the
themselves.
movie and just enjoy it. Like that's the way I'm taking Captain, that's the way I'm taking Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have
Yes.
no, like, I know what they're doing. I know kind of where they're going, but because of the way that they've always changed the Captain America story arcs in the MCU to fit more of a time frame and fit more in line, I know that there's going to be changes. Therefore, I'm here for the ride. I'm enjoying this.
Right.
This is a lot of fun. Like, even when I was speculating with WandaVision, I'm here for the ride. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right.
I,
You're still able to sit back and enjoy the good, even if it doesn't
it,
give you the
it
expectations. Like
exactly.
it's still the good.
So what I'm afraid of is so many people are going to be so disappointed because what they have envisioned happening, for better or worse, because half the time the people that are feel this strongly about it also don't do the proper research to see how
Hmm.
that would even be feasible.
Right.
Or even think about like fiction writing 101. So the whole point is, then they'll get upset and all they'll do is bash it, especially because it's a female-driven movie. I mean, let's look at another Disney property, Raya and the Hidden Dragon, which I watched. A friend bought it. I did not buy it. We should have bought it, but $30 on top of my Disney Plus subscription,
right,
for a movie I don't know if I'm gonna like, felt like
I'm waiting.
a risk. But Raya is not a flop. It actually is a decent little movie. There are some. It's not my favorite Pixar-ish movie by any means. There's some serious, like we were calling them DreamWorks dragons, because they were definitely not up to par with normal Disney movie. They really weren't. Like, that's the thing, is that they really weren't. This movie took some kind of budget hit. Oh well, no. This is like the Bees, or this is like this. No. This isn't Toothless Dragons. Okay. These are like, they look like they could have come from the Bee movie face. Like, it's got that Bee movie face going on.
Yeah.
Okay, not the best, not the best animation. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's not on the story. The story is great. The voice acting is amazing. Mm-hmm. The animation is just not quite up to snuff for Disney.
Okay.
And that's my thing, is like, okay, I don't feel like it is worth $30. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it is worth it if you're going to like share it. Like, you're going to share your screen and do some movie night with a friend. Sure. Maybe like if everyone pulls in the $30, great.
Sure. If 6 people over, I'll pay a couple bucks. It's not a problem.
But it's not a, I want to buy this and keep this forever. And so I understand that but Disney is blaming the movie over their business model. And that's going to have a negative impact later, especially because think about the other $30 movie that they did, live action Mulan, that people during its filming had problems with because it was straying too far from the Disney movie, but it was also had a very political situation over in China, theme to it, that was very pro the government and anti what was going on in Hong Kong at the time. And they had actors and actresses that were speaking out that, like, a lot of other countries who might feel a little bit strongly about it, especially being inspired by Disney's Mulan, was angry about it because it didn't fit. The message didn't fit, and it doesn't fit, and it doesn't make sense, and it's not Mulan. No. And it's not
that movie managed
it's not even the myth of
it. No. So and weird. They managed to piss off everyone with that. Honestly, it's like they got in the shot or out of the shot. Like, you gotta make up your mind.
It's fine.
Okay.
Puppy. But so the thing is the puppy, but so like the whole thing is this the movie, not the puppy, but I see the puppy in my brain again. It's mush. But both movies that have quote unquote flopped for Disney on Disney Plus, both feature an Asian American woman. And Disney, knowing Disney, instead of admitting that it's their fault
for getting it wrong,
their platform,
yes,
they're going to blame, we can't have another movie with a lead Asian American actress. It just doesn't work. And that's not the case at all.
No.
And that's the thing that's going to make me mad. That's what I'm worried about with Black Widow, because I am afraid that if Black Widow flops, or if we have a similar situation, which I think we will, especially if people have to pay $30 for it on Disney Plus, because even though, yes, it should be far out enough that movie theaters should be slowly coming back, but people might not feel safe. So it's still under that umbrella right now. And that upsets me and worries me, because Disney, knowing Disney, are going to go, well, we can't have any kind of like women-led action movies. It didn't do well, even though it's really, why are you making people pay $30 for a movie they've never seen to own it, and they've never seen it, and they don't feel safe spending that cash during a recession like this, during a pandemic,
on a platform they're already paying for.
Exactly. Like, I could understand doing it like, sure, you have Amazon Prime, but see, you don't have to be a part of Amazon Prime to rent a movie off Amazon.
Correct.
And they really
usually just a couple bucks.
Yeah, so they really need to they really need to temper the expectations. I understand that like Universal and Viacom, they were doing the $20, $25 to rent it at the beginning kind of deal. And that is high, but that's still not $30 to own it. You could pay that price, or you could pay I think it was like $30 to own it, or you just weren't allowed to own it until a few weeks later, and then it would be that price for rental or whatever. And they've worked that out too. Like, that's the thing. They're not sitting here, if it didn't work, they changed up the pricing. I know I paid, I think, what was it? I rented Invisible Man for about $10 at the time, and that was on a deal. Universal was having some kind of like rental deal for newer movies, but then I was able to buy it for another $16 after I liked it so much. You know what I mean? So then it was only like $26 tops.
Yeah.
But you didn't pay the full 26, or $30 out the gate and own something you might not like. You had the option.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone would pay $10 for Black Widow if that's what they did. Because they're already paying. Yeah. Everybody would do that. And then if you want it for more than 48 hours,
then you can
pay another.
You can buy it. Yeah. If you like it, then buy it at a discount.
Right.
That's what they need to, that's honestly what they need to be doing, but they're not going to do it because it's Disney, and Disney's thinking, well, you'd pay $30 at the movie theater. Yeah. And I'd get, like, at least in Georgia, I'd also get popcorn.
Yeah, you get a deal. If you have the memberships, you go into the right theater, you go on the right day, you get kind of everything included in your ticket.
Well, yeah, exactly. People were forgetting about the membership deals that Regal and AMC had that were, because thanks to MoviePass. Yep. And yeah, MoviePass went under, but that's because they were working on a bad business model. And that's my thing is I don't think that the movie studios really understood how dire the theater, like the box office already was in before this.
They were trying to do cash grabs in the wrong places. The wrong things were going on. People didn't mind, and I always said this, like, people do take into account, just as like a babysitter, I knew what people were willing to spend on a special night out. And they knew what they were spending. They're spending money on the babysitter. They're spending money on dinner. They're going to spend money on the movie theater tickets. They're going to buy snacks. They're going to have drinks and dessert after or something like that. Or they're going to Cinépolis and doing special, like, they're factoring all of that in, but it's a special occasion. It's not like, hey, it's Tuesday and I got nothing to do. I'm going to go drop $50 at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not what people were doing anymore because everything was so expensive. And
exactly. And
they never marketed any of the good deals either. Like, unless I was in the theater, I never knew when the good deals were going on.
Well, it's like, unless you were going a lot, you didn't know. But see, at the same time, like, I know because before all of this, yeah, sure, I was going to the movie theater all the time. But I also had an AMC pass. At one point, I also had a Regal pass. There were also constantly like, okay, go on a Tuesday night where the tickets are $5. And then generally, you'd also get you get a kids pack for $7. And that's enough popcorn and candy and a drink to last you the whole movie. If you're not, unless you want the big stuff. But it was like, even on a Friday night, an IMAX movie would maybe be $25 tops for Georgia.
Right.
And I know it was higher. I know it was higher in other places.
California.
Well, this, different states were changing it all up, but it's like tops. And maybe it's because I'm celiac and I have to watch stuff because I can't get popcorn everywhere either. So normally I'd have to stick to the nachos. I'm maybe spending, I'm maybe spending $40-$45 on myself for a Marvel movie in IMAX on a Friday, Thursday night.
At a movie theater.
At a movie theater. But that included food. Like, are you going to PayPal me or DoorDash me some food to watch?
Included in that?
Yeah. And and that's my thing. They're not thinking straight because they're sitting there trying to say, oh, but you would have done it for $30 and you get to own it now. Yeah, but that's not,
no.
You can't replicate that experience and you don't know the movie. And also, that math is kind of wrong. And I get it. They're trying to cover their money and not lose everything. I get that. And unfortunately, their business model right now is always going to work at a loss because it's not the same. But they just cannot help themselves at finding something else to blame other than themselves, and the fact that it's going to probably be Asian American women in a movie pisses me off.
Losing what is otherwise really good content because yeah, I could see that concern following the trend. Post. So here's hoping Black Widow does not give them any of that. And again, to the point what you were saying, like the spoiled brat mentality of just pulling in. I said, look, I'm a DC fan. I never complain about any Marvel movie ever because I've got my heart broken so many times.
Yeah. But
like, I've seen a bad movie. Y'all being nitpicky.
Well, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I have criticism on Endgame because I knew that this was going to happen, because to me I felt like it gave far too much fan service that didn't make sense to the plot. It created too many plot holes. And yeah, these TV shows are trying to fix said plot holes and trying to like smooth it over.
Yeah.
But then that means that they can't give you the fan service that these people are, like, some people are now expecting. And then because they feel like they earned it somehow, how dare you not read their mind and do exactly what they want, even though you're literally copying the comics verbatim and it's a good scene. What?
Yeah. It's
welcome to yeah, and that's what I got. Like, that's the thing too, is like people didn't understand. I wasn't mad at these random changes. They irked me because they didn't make sense.
Right.
But they
were there.
They were there, but my thing is I knew this is how the audience would act going forward, because they got what they wanted and they feel like they deserve that now.
Yes, and that the expectations are so high. Again, why firmly why I believe the Snyder Cut got the attention that it did. I'm like, you guys are fighting really, really hard for what's going to be mediocre.
Yeah.
But you will pick apart what is otherwise a really good movie and act like you deserve so much more. And it's the same person. They will see a DC movie and have no expectations. They'll see a Marvel movie and they'll have unlimited expectations. And I go in there kind of just expecting the same thing.
And then yeah, I mean, I just want to say, I'll watch my Daredevil and my 2004 Fantastic Four, and I enjoy it.
Green Lantern.
I still enjoy it. And everybody craps on both of those movies. And yes, they are horrible. There are some horrible. Well, okay, Green Lantern's its own separate situation. That's its own separate situation. Yes. But like, you know what I mean? Like, these movies, they are bad, but they're not that bad. And they were great for that time, and I still enjoy them. But now if you show them to somebody with the MCU mentality, like this MCU, like, I'm right, I deserve all this, and you have to do exactly what I want because mutants have to be in the MCU. They get mad, and they're like, "Oh, this is trash. It's always been trash." And it's like, it's actually not trash.
Really not
like,
that
the acting's really good.
Yeah.
The script is good. The editing is a little weird. Yeah. The CGI and effects are a little campy. Yes. But you know what? That was also at the time of those movies. That's what works. Like, X-Men, honestly, go back and watch original X-Men. That is some campy SFX.
And it's still everything. The lines. Oh my God. Yeah.
But and that's too, people forget too. It's like when you compare the Tim Burton Batman to Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are both,
and everything.
Campy,
practical.
And,
yes.
Yeah. And it's just that style. And it's like, yeah, you can compare the both, and they're like Batman, they're completely different movies, but they work for their times. And that's good. Like, it's okay. And it's also okay to like it. And the thing is that you're not always gonna, exactly, and you're not, but my thing is at the end of the day, you're never gonna always get what you want when people need to tell a story and be creative.
Yes, especially when it gets more and more complicated.
And fans need to get over it, but also the institutions need to stop charging us $30.
Oh, the entitlement, Kelly. Jesus,
know.
Just give them their money. What's wrong with you?
I know.
Oh,
all right.
On that note, as we anticipate another night of hopefully fun watching, Kelly goes, scoops out what's left of her brain, And we thank Lissa for helping us behind the scenes, and thank all of you for joining us on another Two Geek Girls. It'll be back on Sunday. Again, I want to thank Kelly and Lissa for helping me out tonight. Kelly, you want to let them know what's coming up for you?
For me, well, tomorrow's Good Friday and Easter weekend, so I've got nothing. Well, don't have nothing. I think on Saturday I do have some Falcon and Winter Soldier recordings with MCU ATL. So I definitely need to watch now that I'm thinking about it. And yeah. And then that's pretty much it until next Friday for another thing of Make Mine Mayday. We will be going over literally one of my favorite comic book issues of all time, Spider-Girl 27. So if you want to see me talk about that, just find Make Mine Mayday on YouTube. And that's pretty much it.
There you go. So thank you again, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the videos if you can. And yes, next time we'll be talking about Falcon, Winter Soldier. There's a couple more movie announcements that came out, and the final season of Supergirl.
Yes.
And we'll see you then. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.